At Iconic Offices, we've redesigned our workspaces, investing in a safer working environment for our clients. As a flexible workspace provider, our solution enables your business growth, supported by a premium service, all wrapped up in one monthly fee. Whether you're a startup, SME, or a Fortune 500 company, we have a solution for you. We are Iconic Offices, 16 Dublin city centre locations, and we're ready to support your business. Find out how at iconicoffices.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
And Palace have a penalty. A Stonewall penalty. Ian Holloway knew it straight away. Kevin Phillips will put the ball on the spot for Crystal Palace. A man whose career started at Watford in 1994, who's been beaten in 2 playoff finals, will take the penalty and scores! Crystal Palace 1, Watford 0, and this little gem of a goal scorer nets again. His 283rd career goal, a born goal scorer. There will be mixed emotions from the man who owns Watford so much, but the finish from the spot was unerring.
Typically unerring when it comes to Kevin Phillips. We have Damien Delaney with us. That was Kevin Phillips scoring the only goal in the match between Crystal Palace and Watford back in 2013. The playoff game once again upon us, slightly different time of year obviously, between Fulham and Brentford this evening. Damien Delaney on the line, how you doing?
Good, yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to put a figure on how much you owe Kevin Phillips, but it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I still get a kind of an edge listening to that even, you know, because it meant so much at the time, and those feelings of just getting it over the line and finally getting into the Premier League was just overwhelming. And you know, I can remember exactly being stood in the centre spot facing the other way looking at the Crystal Palace fans, as in, you know, because I couldn't watch Kevin Phillips take it.
You're such a poser. You did not. That is shameless. That's posing for the cameras.
It's not. I looked the other way, and I was facing the Palace fans, and I saw them cheer. So I didn't actually see the goal till about 2 days later.
When you sobered up, I presume.
Yeah.
The pressure. I mean, Brentford and Fulham players right now. So what? It's 8-9 minutes before kick-off. They will only be too aware of the stakes, and the stakes for them personally. And it's probably the fruition of a dream for everybody. For so many of them to play in the Premier League, I can only imagine what the build-up to these games is like. It must be just horrific. Can you remember 2013, that week in May well?
Absolutely, yeah. I really can, crystal clear. You know, I can still, the same feeling comes back to kind of the pit of my stomach, you know, in the week leading up to it, because it means so much. Because, you know, you battle hard for 46 games, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, playing well, not playing so good, in and out of form, hanging in there, getting lucky, every emotion you could possibly imagine. And then it comes down to one game of football at the end of the season, and everything hinges on it. And I have said before that, you know, the game means so much because, you know, when we lost the FA Cup final in 2016, I know you know, losing a final is terrible, but, you know, after a few days, you get over it, and you're still a Premier League player.
Yeah.
So you go back, you know, I'm not downplaying or saying that it was okay to lose an FA Cup final.
But it's not life-changing.
Exactly. And for all of us now, that day changed all of our career paths massively, you know, and all those guys will be feeling the exact same emotions right now, that, you know, they can go on and become household names and real, you know, have a decent long career in the Premier League on the back of a game that takes place tonight.
Well, very few games will change your life to that effect, and both sides know that you can be the better team and lose. You know, anything can happen in this one-off game. It's totally unfair. It dictates so much, but that's just the way it is, and that's part of the drama and the excitement. In 2013, had Palace done well to get into the playoffs, or were you disappointed to be there?
I think we were delighted in the end because we really did limp into the playoffs. I think come at Christmas time, we were actually top of the league and a few points clear.
Right.
And we were absolutely cruising, and, you know, And then we didn't make any signings sorry, I tell a lie. Kevin Phillips is the only player we signed from Blackpool, which I know turned out to be a huge one.
Yeah.
But in terms of helping you from January to the end of May, Kev was only in like 1 day a week, and played the last 20 minutes of games if we were chasing something. But he contributed massively, because I think he scored something like 7 or 8 goals. He got a hat-trick one game in about 12 minutes. I think it would have been Blackpool at home or Barnsley or someone like that. So he definitely contributed. But in terms of like a player coming in and really picking us up, he wasn't that. And I remember Yannick Bolasie just ran out of steam massively towards the end of the season. So he actually went out of the team, and he was such a big part of what we did as well. But he was just tired, and he went out of form altogether. So by the end, I think we were happy to limp in 6th place.
Okay.
And I think that's where we finished.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Kevin Phillips, 14 appearances and 6 goals in the 2013 season, which is a very decent contribution. I had a look back at the highlights of the game today against Watford back in 2013. Wembley, obviously it's weird to say it now, but it's jarring because it's full of people and it's an incredible atmosphere. And it looked like a hot day.
Yeah, and again, it went extra time as well. So it was just, that's one thing, I actually never went out after the game. I was that tired and dehydrated. I didn't. It was. I remember getting back to the hotel where everybody was celebrating, and I was just stood there, and I couldn't. Someone gave me a drink, and I couldn't even drink it, and I just that lightheaded of the week building up to the game, and then the 120 minutes in the hot conditions. I ended up just getting the tube home. Outside the hotel, I just got on the tube and went home and fell asleep. Yeah, that's absolutely. Amazing. Yeah, but look, it was a fantastic day, and it's the best game of football you could win. Yeah. It truly is. But there was a chance of losing it, and then it's the worst ever.
And when it's a cup final like that, was your approach as a team to go out and we got to keep things tight and let's really be cautious here and not concede early? Do you play a different style of game when you're in a cup final environment like that?
Yeah, everything's heightened because the arena in itself in Wembley is such an intimidating, fantastic arena to play a game in. Yeah. And when it's full and fantastic, it does kind of sharpen the senses and focus the mind. And we just spoke continuously about the week, about just staying present in the moment. Whatever happened, if we went 1-0 down or we went 1-0 up, we didn't change. We just took every second that was on the clock and we just lived second by second. And it's quite easy in a game like that if something goes against you, you can lose concentration, snatch at a result or do something off the cuff or panic. And we just spoke all the time, whatever happens, just stay in the moment. Whatever's happening in the moment, in your position, in your mind, just stay in that and stay focused.
That's good advice. What was Ian Holloway like before kickoff generally and on that day?
And like Ian Holloway is everything you picture him to be. He's a jackrabbit. I mean, that is probably, a March Hare type character where he just comes in and he has that nervous energy bounce about him, but he makes jokes at like inappropriate times or says silly things at silly times. And I think in a funny way it took the edge off an awful lot, but he's such a big character and such a kind of funny guy, I suppose, really. And I suppose in times like that, you kind of need to take the edge off as well. Looking
at the highlights today, I don't remember the game. It's 7 years ago now. But you seem to have a good game. There was one brilliant tackle you made, a little bit last ditch, coming in from the right with your left foot. You slide and tackle to stop what would have been a tough shot to save. So you look like you did have a good game. And the other thing which jumped out based on the highlights is that, especially in the second half, Palace created so many chances. I mean, it looked like you were totally on top. Yeah. You were either breaking them down or else you were even catching them on the break. You were, just all over them. And then none of them went in. And so often on a day like that, where one team's creating all the chances and can't take them, what the sucker punch is coming. I wondered, did that cross your mind? Like, geez, how have they hung in here? Yeah, that kind of goes back to what I was saying before about staying in the moment. We in the build-up to the game, we lost Glenn Murray, who scored 31 or 32 goals for us that season, done his cruciate in the playoff semi-final. And Aaron Wilbraham came in, and Aaron Wilbraham only played, I'd say, a couple of games that season. And he was immense for us that day in terms of hold-up play and work rate and everything. But he missed about 5 or 6 gilt-edged chances. Now, Almunia was in goal, and I do remember him making save after save.
And kind of as a team and as a senior players on the pitch, we're just kind of remembering, because with some young players then, we're kind of reminding everyone, it doesn't matter, just keep going, we'll get it, the chance will come, we'll take it, because like I said earlier, it's quite easy that when you're as on top as what you were, you're missing chances, that you could just like panic and snatch at the result, and then you get caught on the break and you end up losing 2-0, and then you're that guy saying, God, how do we lose that game? So we were a well-disciplined team, we were well organised, we were a very self-disciplined team, and we had some good characters and kind of leaders, I suppose, on the pitch, that when we were doing so well and we weren't scoring, we just kept reminding lads, just stay calm, it'll come, don't worry, just keep doing what we were doing, and eventually we'll get our chance.
And did you play well, or did I just see your two best moments?
No, I had a pretty good game, yeah, from what I remember of it. The best thing about that Vidra, I know it seems harsh to say, but he went off about 2 minutes later, because as I made the tackle, I kind of caught him and I felt his ankle buckle underneath me, kind of underneath my back when I kind of went across him. So I knew straight away that he was done, because I just felt it. No, it wasn't, I just made the block. It wasn't malicious, or there was no intent there or anything like that. But I did feel his ankle go underneath my body. So I knew straight away that not only it was a tackle, but I knew he wasn't coming back out, because it was quite close to the second half, and he didn't come over the second half. So it was kind of a double whammy for them. And he was such a good, and still is such a good player, and I think he was top scorer for Watford that season. So I would never wish it ill on anyone, but at the time I was bloody delighted.
Yeah, you weren't sorry to see him go. What strikes me about this game as well, Kevin Phillips scores the penalty, amazing, and you win it in extra time, 1-0. Full time, everyone's running around, because it's just, this is unbelievable. We're Premier League beckons, and I'm sure for you it was, fruition of a lifetime's dreaming. It does strike me though, at the back of your mind, everyone must be suddenly thinking now, this club is thrown into the best kind of chaos. Like, if you lose that game, sure, Watford there, you pretty much look around the dressing room and it's like, okay, we'll go again, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and we're back for pre-season. You must be in the dressing room thinking, this is amazing, this is brilliant, we've done it. And quickly at the back of your mind thinking, who are they going to sign? Do I still play? Am I a Premier League player? Am I being sent back to the Championship? What's going on here?
Yeah. That's a very fair point, and then that does happen an awful lot. But I think most lads are celebrating because, straight away that once you get promoted, your contract goes up, your wages go up, everything that's incentivised on the back of promotion.
How much does your contract go up by in percentage terms? What's it worth to a standard Championship contract if you get promoted?
Well, back in 2013, nearly everyone had double your money in your contract on the spot. As soon as you go in the Premier League, your contract doubles. That's what I had, and that's what pretty much everyone has. A lot of Championship teams now have gone a different route, because they're some if not most Championship teams are now playing kind of Premier League wages on the back of we'll pay the money and try and get promoted. But players that kind of wouldn't be already on Premier League money, they would have double bubble in their contract, and that's what it would be. Wow. And that's why we were all celebrating.
Suddenly, you running around the pitch topless at full time makes perfect sense.
Exactly, Joe.
God, that is insane though. I mean, wow, like it's not often you double your earnings. That day doesn't happen very often in life. Wow.
And then the bonus sheet comes in. That following couple of weeks, then you're doing your bonus sheet with the chairman, and then there's some real eye-watering figures for points gained and places finished, and all the bits and pieces, and you really do want to incentivise the players. So financially, your bonus sheet was structured in a way that it was pretty good.
And like, we're laughing here and we're having a joke, and obviously, but in terms of players who want to provide for their families, who want to provide for their parents, who are thinking about the next 30, 40 years, this is make or break stuff for a lot of them. Because if you hadn't nudged your way into the Premier League in 2013, who knows what the following 4, 5, 6 years hold for you, and that transforms your life. We've talked about it before.
Absolutely. Just to double your money and to get into a certain bracket of wages, you're kind of there. And if anyone wants to buy you, well, they've now got to pay your new wage. So if you do get sent back to the Championship, you're entitled to say to the club that wants to buy you, well, hang on a minute, I'm on X amount of money here at Crystal Palace. You got to pay me X. I'm not going to go back to what I was on previously. So you kind of elevate yourself into a new wage bracket. And the same, if Crystal Palace did want to get rid of you, obviously they now have to pay a hell of a lot more money to get rid of you. But, you can talk about the money side of it, and that is fantastic. But ultimately, your point at the top of the question is valid. is the fruition of a lifetime of dreams. You know, it's what you want to do. You ask anybody in the Championship, you know, they want to get promoted, and if you gave them a choice, they get promoted through the playoffs. So it is the kind of the fruition of that lifelong dream is the overriding emotion. And once the dust settles, then you know.
Yeah, no, I get totally. I get the Premier League thing and match of the day and playing at Old Trafford and Anfield, and suddenly all of that is just, you know, within touching distance. How quickly from the Watford game did you get the word that yes, we still want you, you're going to be a Premier League centre half, we're not going out to try and sign somebody and put you on the bench kind of thing?
Well, they never tell you that. Absolutely never. You just got to go away and see what business they conduct over the summer. But I remember after the game, I did say to Ian Holloway directly after the game, we were still on the pitch actually, I made him promise to me. I said, look, will you give me the first game of next season? And he said, what are you on about? And I said, look, I know that you know we potentially go and sign players and stuff, but I said, look, make me a promise, give me the first game of next year. And he said, I will. No, obviously he's going to say that, but you know.
He tried to sign Yap Stam later that day, I heard.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. But I remember being on holidays and the fixtures came out, and I looked at them online. I was in Spain, I think, and it was Spurs' first game of the season, and it was the same summer that they'd sold Gareth Bale. So they spent all that Gareth Bale money on, you know, Paulinho and Soldado. You know, so at the time you're thinking, oh, for goodness sake.
Van der Vaart, did he come in that summer as well?
Yeah, they signed about 4 or 5. No, they all turned out not to be fantastic signings, but we weren't to know that at the time. And I was thinking, oh, I should have asked them for 2 games.
Very good. Well, we'll see how Fulham and Brentford go this evening. Have you got a strong inkling either way as to how this will go? It's hard to feel too strongly about such a strange game.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's like any big game. It's who can deliver their game plan the best, and on a big stage, albeit there's no fans there, but in a big stadium that, you know, a lot of players potentially haven't played in before, it's who can implement the best on the day and who can stay focused and who can kind of deliver the best performance. And I want to say Fulham. That's kind of where I'm leaning. You know, there's a lot of new young players in that Brentford team. They're fantastic. So, but I just think Fulham have the benefit. I think 9 of their current squad have been there before, and I just think that they'll deliver the best performance. But you never know. I mean, it's too tough to call.
Of course it is, yeah. So 3 minutes gone there. We'll keep people updated on that game across the evening. Before you go, Champions League is kicking off this week again. It's great to have it back, and it's kind of cool the way they've done it with Friday and Saturday games. And so I think everybody's looking forward to Man City against Real Madrid. That's on Friday. City lead 2-1. What are your thoughts ahead of this game?
The interesting thing for me is, you know, the league's been finished a week or so now. Players, you know, how they prepare for the next 2 weeks. Were they all on holidays or left to go away for a few days, or were they left to come in? Who can keep their focus? Because when a season finishes, even though you have another tournament coming up, sometimes you can lose a little bit of the focus. I doubt Pep Guardiola would allow that too much, but whoever can keep their focus and maintain their form into the Champions League, because you're going into another level now from Man City playing in the Premier League to going into playing Real Madrid in the Champions League. And if they get caught cold at the start, I wouldn't be surprised to see Real Madrid kind of haul them back in.
They've been in decent form, obviously. They're fresh off winning La Liga, so we'll see. You suspect if there's a competition City and Pep are focused on, this is it. And I mean, City, along with who look like overall favourites for this? You'd certainly have City in the mix. Madrid, if they beat City. I haven't seen much Juventus. Bayern, by all accounts, are back playing really, really good football.
I just have a sneaky feeling for Juventus. I think, you know, Ronaldo's, I mean, this is his competition. He's got 5 winners' medals. I think he'll be really motivated. They rested him for the last game of the season, even though he had a chance of winning the top scorer in Serie A. I just feel that he is a man for the big occasion. And they have a really good squad, and I've been watching their team selections recently. They've rotated pretty well. I like Sarri. I always have done, even when he was at Chelsea. I know a lot of people criticise him, but I do like him. And I just think that with Cristiano being fresh, I just have a sneaky feeling for them. But
okay.
Bayern, as you say, are decent too.
Yeah, well, they're 3-0 up on Chelsea. That's on Saturday, that second leg. Barcelona and Napoli is 1-1. City, Real Madrid, like I said, Friday, City leading 2-1. And Juventus are 1-0 down against Lyon, but they're at home on Friday night. So they're just such brilliant games coming up. We'll chat to you maybe about them next week. In the meantime, thanks for taking us down memory lane. God bless Kevin Phillips is the moral of this story.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Damien, thanks a mil. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Matt.
Off the ball on News Talk. Back on track with Bobby Kerr.
On this week's podcast, we continue to find out how businesses have coped, how some have thrived, and how industries are adapting in the new COVID world. This week, it's all about agriculture and farming. I'm joined by IFA President Tim Cullinan, Pat O'Toole of the Irish Farmers Journal, and economist Jim Power.
Back on track with Bobby Kerr. A new podcast from News Talk.
Thanks to Bank of Ireland.
Listen and subscribe to the podcast now at newstalk.com or on the News Talk app.
Introducing a new range of online mental health benefits from VHI. With our 24/7 mental health support line, whatever you were going through, stress, anxiety or other worries, we have qualified counsellors who are ready to talk. And to support you even further, we are offering a benefit towards the wellness app, Headspace. Search VHI Mental Health. Terms and conditions apply.